switch to all one tech platform or directly for work.
What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello. Happy whatever day it is. Wednesday. Hold up. Give me a second here. Let me make sure the audio is coming through. Yeah, sounds like it is. Beautiful. All right, I do have my phone ready as a backup in case for any reason my internet starts being weird, my laptop starts being weird. That has happened the last couple of times, but for now, we're here. We got some picture, we got some audio, and we got some Splinterlands. Now, hold up. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put on the music. That's what's missing. I had tested it before, but there we go. Nobody's complained about this music yet. But then again, I haven't been streaming as much. We switched the music a while back because people were saying that it got a little too repetitive. But I've had this one now for, I don't know, months at least. If for anybody who doesn't remember, if you don't remember, this was the original one, which I kind of like. It's chill. I mean, they're both really chill. But then, you know, the drums kick in. It's like do 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 do. But we can keep it here. We'll go back. This one's called Night Driving. The one that we used to do is called Daydreaming. And then there's a couple other ones here that we can mess around with. But we're not going to. We're just going to hang out. Let's talk Splinterlands. Let's talk Town Hall. Now, did the Town Hall move the numbers? Did it move the needle on anything? Not really. I mean, just looking here, SPS is up to, you know, it's up 4% at 0.0073. But that's with the rest of the market kind of pumping. You can see ETH is up 5%. BNB is up 5%. It's an interesting time, man. I thought August would actually be a little bit better, and then we dip in September. But at this point, I don't even know what to expect. I'm still hoping for a hot Q4 and a good October to get us started. So that's where my head is at. We got a couple of months until that happens. But let's go ahead and jump into the chat here. We got Ghostly BG. Howdy. It is late for you, my friend, but thank you for tuning in. We got New Age in the house. Hold on, what's going on with my headphones? They sound weird. There we go. I think they just got a little too big, too loose. All right, just pulled today's Tasoshi. Congratulations, man. That's incredible. I'm assuming these are the gold foil arcane ones, right? That's awesome, dude. Glad to hear it. Doombot is here. Evening all. Congrats, New Age. Paul Taylor's in the house. What's going on? Vlogging says, I tried to watch Town Hall, but I couldn't concentrate. What did they talk about? Man, you know what? They talked about a lot. I jumped on Twitter before the Town Hall was even done, and I had to go. What's that called? Just kind of rave about the Town Hall. So, you know what? I just realized I'm not streaming to Twitch because I just had to change my credentials on there. That's why it was giving me an error before I went live. So today we're just on YouTube and X, but in the future we will be on Twitch because they're going to be doing those Twitch drops at some point. So let me go through this. I have not organized. People are already asking me for the 5 biggest takeaways. I just took a bunch of notes. I actually listened to the Town Hall twice already. I listened to the second time on super fast speed, picked up a couple more things, but there's just so much in there that it's like I'm actually dreading doing this 5 biggest takeaways because I just have a ton of notes here and I don't even know where to start or what to focus on. I'm gonna have to cut a bunch of stuff out. I don't know. That's just kind of where my head is at right now. So I don't expect the 5 biggest takeaways tonight. I had to choose between either doing a live stream, which I really wanted to do, or do the 5 biggest takeaways, and my dread of having to actually work through the notes is what got me to push it off until tomorrow. But I figure we could talk about the notes here, and then maybe there's some stuff that you guys picked up that I didn't, just because there was so much information. Then maybe I could kind of refine it and add it in. So here's the stuff that's coming up soon, right? So when Investigator first started talking, or towards the beginning of the Town Hall, he mentioned a bunch of different things. The Twitch partnership, which is what I was alluding to earlier, that is one of the first things he talked about. If you guys don't know, shout out to Tales from the Cryptmancer, who has been spearheading this and actually did a live testing of it, I think, over the weekend. I tried to jump into his live stream on Twitch, But essentially, what you'll be getting is Glint for watching Splinterlands streamers. Glint, and then you'll be able to work up to like a reward, not a reward card, but like a promo card or something like that. So I don't know how that's all going to work. I'm sure the team is going to figure out details as soon as that happens. But Twitch is going to be where it's at. Hopefully, they do extend it up. Like YouTube, and I got a good thing going for me over here. But we'll figure it out. I mean, obviously we stream to Twitch as well. It's just, I don't know, Twitch. I don't know. I used to love Twitch, and then YouTube just became so much easier for me. There's also going to be a guild chat update. Not anything revolutionary, but I think you'll be able to go through and see a lot of older messages now, something like that. So guild chat update, a bunch of quality of life updates, and again, keep in mind they just did an update yesterday, which was a lot of quality of life stuff. I don't think there's anything too major. Hold on, let me check so I'm not leaving anything out. Let's go to the official announcements. Fix an issue with alpha beta bonuses not appearing. The season activity default view now shows expanded battle. Okay, yeah, so it's a bunch of bugs and a bunch of quality of life stuff. So that's what they did yesterday. Looking at my calendar, we got the 26th is the final Tuesday, right? Maintenance window day for August. And then we are into the new year. September 2nd is the day right after Labor Day, which is a big holiday here in the U.S. or national holiday here in the U.S. I don't know that we should expect too much then. But if you think about it, it's just like, okay, within like 3 weeks, so the 9th, we might be getting, the last thing that was on the list, which is the next voucher promo card. So that could come within the next 3 to 4 weeks, or at least before the next town hall, right? So Tasoshi, for all the people who are loving Tasoshi, keep in mind that there is an end date. Tasoshi did come out in June, and once we hit September, or once we get the September card, we will officially be a full year into this voucher promo card experiment, which I would say has been a pretty solid success. Voucher prices have been up and down. There's a little bit of a exploit or whatever you want to call it early on with the voucher LP, which I think could have changed things. So I think we minted like 2 million vouchers, and I don't want to be that guy, but I think it got swept under the rug. Like I don't know if the teams like bought back vouchers. And you know what? Sorry, you know what? I have nothing but praise for the team. So this is not me trying to FUD. You guys know that. I used to have that tab open that showed what the balance was, and I think not that maybe it's not that I got swept under the rug. I just think like we just kind of forgot about it. Which I'll be honest, I think in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. I mean, really matter. So I'm sure people will find a reason to get upset about it. But like 2 million vouchers, that's like 2 months worth of printing, right? So instead of like forcing the team to buy that back with the funds that they have, I would rather them find new creative ways to get voucher usage, which I think they did. So in a way you could think about it, like they did with the land stuff, right? Not the land stuff, the fortune draws and the auction promos. Again, I'm not trying to FUD. If that stuff did get resolved and I just wasn't privy to that information, please do let me know. But I hadn't seen anything about it, and yeah, I don't know. That's just where I'm at. So where are we at? Notes. So yeah, next voucher promo card coming. As I was saying, I think it's been a relatively solid experience so far. It's introduced 4 cards into the game, which have been fun or meta, and I think that if we continue with this, like at least vouchers have a home. Vouchers are doing something, and we saw voucher prices spike whenever this stuff comes out. So I think they need to put out phenomenal cards. But, that's just part of the process. It's only 4 cards per year. So that was the coming soon portion. They did talk a little bit about onboarding, which was one of the things that was on my big questions. There were 2 metrics that were stated, which stood out to me. And I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. So the first of which was Dave was saying that they have a conversion rate of 25%. 1/4, right? So for every 4 people that come into the game, 1 person sticks around. Now, conversion in this sense, as opposed to what I've talked about conversion rates in the past, is not buying a spell book. Just looking at people who sign up play around a little bit, and then don't leave, right? They stick around in the ecosystem. They don't necessarily buy a spell book, because I think we were looking at those conversion rates at the 5-6%, right? But they stick around and they're enjoying the free to play and participating and all of that, right? So I think if I did hear that correctly, I believe it was 25%. And then he also said something where he didn't share the numbers, which I thought was interesting. He said the number of people participating in the Conclave Arcana sale has doubled. So I forgot what it was. I'm sure we could dig through the previous interviews with Dave and town halls and such. If I remember correctly, I think it was over like 1,000 people that participated in the pre-sale. So now that it's doubled, my guess is that we have about 2,000 people that have participated in the sale in one way, shape, or form, meaning that they've bought packs, right? So whether it was in the pre-sale or whether it was yesterday or today, we are now at a point where double the amount of people that participate in the pre-sale have participated in the sale. So that's actually kind of cool to think about, because I don't know that we've onboarded like 1,000 people, but it is, I don't know. And maybe it wasn't 1,000. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I thought the number was. He just said that the number of people participating in the sale has doubled. So I thought that was cool. They talked a lot about avatars. Those will be coming soon, and I think they'll be added into the Glint shop for different kinds of things that you can customize. Nate's really happy about that. I'm really happy for Nate, because he's been talking about this for a while, just creating that kind of experience, immersive experience for people in the game. So I am excited about that. Now, what's interesting is that Matt was speaking to me when he said, a lot of players out there, they're going to look at this and be like, I don't care what my avatar looks like, right? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm an Ulund or if I'm a human or if I'm an orc or I'm a whatever. Like, nobody really cares about that stuff, right? Or a lot of people don't really care about that stuff. And I was like, oh, he's talking to me because I don't care, right? But then he said, we're going to make you care. He's like, we're going to do something. He's like, that's part of the project. One of the things that I'm working on to find a way to make it so that it's like an interactive part of the game that you want to participate in. So I look at that, and my hope, right? So I can go, my hope is that it's going to be something fun and, immersive, and not something that's like required, because I know that the immediate knee-jerk reaction that a lot of people are going to say to him, right? And it even crossed my mind, is like, oh gosh, I hope you're not going to make me buy something, right? Which that's not the case, right? Because obviously one of the things that Matt did talk about was the fact that they've been such a premium focused game for a while, and now they're shifting to this kind of hybrid spectrum where people can have whatever kind of relationship with Splinterlands that they want. And I love that. I really, really do love that. I think Dave has done a great job of championing that. And the rest of the team is really, really bought into it, which is fantastic. So going back to the avatar thing, Matt did say that there will be a reason for me to care. And I got to say, I found that intriguing enough for me to remember, because you know what? It's not even here on my notes. And it was just intriguing enough for me to remember. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. They did give some timings on some stuff. Hold on, where's my other notes here? Oh, okay. So actually, before we jump into that, the next thing that they talked about is a guild overhaul. So new buildings and ways to contribute. That's a direct quote from Matt. He also wants to add more diversity to guilds, and what he means by that is you don't necessarily want it to be like all guilds that are or guilds that have all members who are like top spenders. There will be some slots that are cool for, I'm assuming, like free to play players, right? Or players who are minimal spenders and just coming in and wanting to have fun. So I don't know what that looks like, but I'm curious to see how it works. And then he wants to do a complete overhaul to brawls. He thinks that, or if I can paraphrase him, because I don't have the quote here, but if I can paraphrase him, it's just like it's gotten a little stale. It's too much like the original game. He likened the change in brawls, or the overhaul in brawls, to something like survival mode, which technically is still the same game, but the mechanics of like only being able to use a card once and then it goes on cooldown, he wants to be able to do something like that. Now, again, not specifically survival mode for brawls, but just something in the sense of like, I don't think the core aspect of the game, like the auto battler, is going to change, but I do wonder if there's going to be some kind of like, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if there was some kind of like shared pool in the brawl, if you get what I'm saying. Like, so every player, like, actually, this would be kind of cool if you think about it, right? So you could have it be where, and I know people are going to get upset about this one way or another, but imagine this, right? Where you have a guild system where the brawls are separate from ranked play, right? No, but I guess you don't want to do that either, because now they've siloed off survival mode, so cooldown only affects it there. Well, I wonder if they could do something like that for guild brawls too. The idea that came to mind. So, but sorry, I'm just kind of like thinking about this live on the spot. But it's just like if you submitted cards to the guild, right? It's like this is your not your sacrifice, but your tribute to the guild. These are the cards that I'm willing to put into the guild, and any and everybody can play with that. But as soon as somebody uses it, it's gone, right? Like, or it's on cooldown for guilds only. If you follow what I'm saying, right? Where it really becomes more of a team dynamic, more of like a shared thing dynamic. Because one of the big issues that I've had with guilds or brawls just in general is like it's still just solo stuff. I would love, even though I don't even participate in my guild anymore, shout out Darkest Night, even though I don't participate in my guild brawls anymore, what I would love to see is just more of a team environment. So obviously we're not going to get doubles, right? Where it's just like 2v2 or something like that. But it'd be interesting where it's just like if you had to coordinate with your guild mates and you had to actually be an active participating member, where it's like, okay, hey, this time around, who's going to contribute their Tasoshi card, right? Who's going to contribute their Keeling Gains card? And then, I don't know, something like that would be interesting. And again, I'm not thinking through all the implications of this, so this is very raw, and you can poke a lot of holes in it, and I would gladly want you to. I'm just saying that when he talks about complete overhaul and making it something like what they did with survival mode, that's what comes to mind. So we'll see. All right, quick detour, just because I see we have some folks coming into the chat. So we got Druid's Blood. Howdy After Sound. That tunnel burnt me out. Info overload. Yeah, there was a lot in there. There was a lot. I almost want to listen to it a third time before I do my 5 biggest takeaways, but I think that's not a good use of my time because got other things to do. Congrats on Tasoshi to New Age. OFG says hello. What's going on? Darkest Night is calling me right now. Hold on. I'm gonna pick up. Okay, hold on. Yo, Darkest Night, I am live on stream right now talking Splinterlands. So I'm gonna call you later. But if you want to say hey to everybody, you're on speakerphone.
Hey everybody, I'm on speakerphone. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir. What you up to?
All right. I'll tell you when you call me back.
All right. I'll give you a call about 30 minutes if you're free.
Cool. I will be. Yeah.
Later. His ears were burning because I was talking about him. That's so funny. All right, cool. So let's go with this. Vlogging says, he just reminded me of parallel avatars. What a waste of Ethereum. No more avatars for me. Well, yeah, those were, I'm glad I didn't buy one. I don't even know what's happening with the game anymore, sadly, and I own way too much Prime for me to be comfortable. So I hope that there is an alt season and there is a chance for me to cash that out. Paul says 2,369 unique accounts have bought California packs as of Sunday night. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. About 1,000. Now we're up to 24, almost 2,400. That's awesome. Merlin's Matrix, what's going on? OFG says, would they have CP limits or some guild slots? On some guild slots? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. That could be interesting. Because that would force guilds to get new players in, right? Get some new blood. And that'd be kind of cool. But you know what would be sad though is like, let's say you get somebody into the guild and like you really gel with them. And so they're playing in like one of the CP limited brawls, but they like the game. So they start buying a ton of cards. And now all of a sudden they're no longer eligible for that CP thing. And you're like, well, I guess you're going to have to graduate from our guild and go to another one that needs you at a higher level because we have everything covered, or go start your own guild. That'd be kind of sad. Maybe sad's not the right word. That'd be kind of dysfunctional. Paul says 1,067 unique accounts bought into the pre-sale. Dude, Paul bringing the stats. Thank you, Paul. So I'm actually kind of proud of my memory here. 1,000. We were at about 1,000. So New Age says, I think Guild Brawl should be a live bracket tournament between guilds. I would love that. We need more focus on live stuff. It needs to come from the team. Shout out to Lorcas for setting up these tournaments that we get to do, on a weekly basis. Actually, I got to check and see if the guys are free tomorrow. But yeah. Oh, she plays in the house. Let's go. Ryan 600, what's going on? How are you liking land? Are you planning any videos on your adventures in land? I don't have any specific videos in mind for land. Ryan, I know that I haven't gotten as many up and running as I want to, but I am very close to getting to my SPS goal. And as soon as I get to my SPS goal, every extra SPS I have will either be sold, ideally burned for DEC, but sold for DEC to start buying all the power cores that I need. I've really wanted land to kind of supply itself, but then I got hooked on this idea of getting to my SPS goal, which I think I should get there. I think I should get there relatively soon. Hold on. I want to run the numbers here live so I can give you an idea. Let's see. I need about 9,000 more SPS, and I get about, I don't know, we'll say if I get 250 per day. So in about a month, I guess I should just buy the SPS at this point. I just like letting things accumulate, but you know what I'm saying. So land is going to be a big focus on me towards the back. Well, I guess we're in the back half of the year, towards the fourth quarter of the year. And that's going to be one of the things that I start to get up and running. So, but yeah, I like land. I think to me, that's really the future. I think the card game is always going to be the core of what Splinterlands is, but they've done, in my opinion, a phenomenal job of really starting to integrate land and land assets, land resources, things like that into the rest of the game, whether it's the card sales, right? Pack sales, whether it is these promo cards, whether it's the wagons and conflicts. So as long as they continue to do that, I think we'll be good. William, what's going on? Blockchain Projects is card burning for land cards. Oh, that was another one. Hold on, I gotta write that down. That was a huge little thing that he talked about at the end. Cinder, I believe it was what it called. So I forgot to put that note in. But yes, that's gonna be big. Hey, Darkest Night, the dude. Yeah. All right. William says YG Weekend Challenge was a can't miss tourney. I really miss those. Buy pickles. I mean SPS. Yeah, we're almost there on the SPS front, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so caught up on the chat. I'm only gonna go for what I say, like another 30 minutes or less than that when Darkest Night called. Yeah. So let's chat. So here are the other notes that I have. So guilds and avatars are the two big projects. That's what he listed them as, or announced them as. These are the two big projects that they want to get done by the end of the year. So within the next 4 months, right? Roughly, we're pretty much at the end of August already, if you think about it. There's also going to be a new reward set, and the big thing about that, which may come in October, but the big thing around that is that there is discussions of the reward set not being soulbound, and they're seeing the success of frontier mode and the cards being easily, you can unlock them or whatever. I'm intrigued by this idea, and I think it could work. I also think there's an easy solve here, and maybe I'm not thinking through the full implications of this, but what if reward cards just had no burn value? If you take away the burn value, because right now they're actually DEC positive, right? Because as it stands right now, to make them tradable, you actually need to burn DEC. The way we had it before, they were DEC negative, so you were burn, you could burn them for DEC, they'd be a net negative on DEC, right? But inflationary. If you just make them neutral, right? So we go in the middle and just say all reward cards that come into the space, you cannot burn them for DEC. You can sell them on the secondary market, cool, right? But you can't burn them for DEC, so they just kind of sit there, and their value is only what people are willing to pay for them. That could make for an interesting solve and solution. Now, I just literally thought about that on the spot right now. We have already somewhat solved for the bot issue and I don't even want to call it the bot issue, but the exploit issue, right? Because to play in Modern, You cannot bot your account. Now you can go and you can spam as many alt accounts as you want, and like that's cool, right? But you have to put in the time, and the team's going to be very focused on making sure nobody's exploiting the situation there. But on the flip side, on Wild, what's interesting about that is you got that 2,000 DEC barrier, right? 2,000 DEC for the Wild Season Pass. Now, what could be interesting is if we get into a situation where these cards are really valuable at first, you might get a lot of accounts that come online and purchase the Wild Season permit in order to earn these cards as well as SPS. And that could create, a highly inflationary situation for the cards, but we'd be burning a ton of SPS. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's like 5,000 accounts playing right now, right? Not all of them are participating in the Wild permit. And I haven't even been tracking those numbers yet. I'll start again at the next season. But let's say somebody wanted to bring on like a 5,000 bot army, right? So 5,000 times 2,000. That's 10 million DEC per season times 2. So 20 million DEC they'd be burning a month. Which means what? Times 0.01 at PEG. That's 20 grand a month. Holy crap. 20 grand a month that they'd have to be paying. Which means the cards would have to be worth more than that for them to come away. The cards plus the SPS would have to be worth more than that for them to come away with it. And let's be honest, burning 20 million DEC a month is not that much if we're talking about 5 million accounts. It's interesting though. I don't know. I'm open to the idea. I just think that if the reward cards don't have a burn value, we might be in a better position. All right, let me catch up on the chat real quick. So black foils for older cards. Pump, I think we should actually stay away from that. I think if people have the older cards, let the older cards be, right? A gold foil Archmage Arius, or whatever his name is, or a gold foil, alpha beta card. Like those should be the premium. That's what it was. I don't think we should go in backdating it. Blockchain Project says I bought SPS today. Nice. Any land updates from Cryptomancer? You know what? I got kicked out of the Land Barons channel. I think when the hack happened, they reset a bunch of stuff, and so I'm no longer. I don't have the green tag anymore. I'm not a team member. So I shot Royal Eagle a note just to see if he could add me back into just that channel because I like to do content, but I haven't heard back from him yet. It was just earlier today, so I don't expect a quick response because I'm sure the team is busy doing what the team does. But hopefully, if that's the case, then I will. I'll get back to doing the weekly updates from Cryptomancer. I really like doing those. I really like seeing Cryptomancer kind of share that on a weekly basis. I think it's important for the DAO to see that. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that it should be gatekept behind the if anything, I know. So here's the funny part. If it should be gatekept anywhere, I don't know that it should be gatekept in the Land Barons channel. I think it should be gatekept in the SPS Shard Holders channel, right? Because technically he's an employee of the DAO. So if you own enough SPS, we're kind of like the boss by committee, right? I don't know. That's just my thought. Cryptoman's on a holiday at the moment. Don't expect much for the coming weeks. All right, cool. Avatars look cool, says Drew His Blood. I didn't go through and check all this stuff. I was just kind of listening on my phone in the background, but I will make sure to do that. So Pomp says reward cards with new burn value. Duh, I've been saying for months. I think you meant no burn value. Yeah. All right. Ghostly BG says if the reward set is not soulbound, then it should not be farmable by bots. There are no bots in Frontier, but there are bots in Wild. Yeah. You could get a mustache. Mustache? What are we talking about here? I will hit up Royal Eagle. I will hit Royal Eagle up. You need to see Landon. Dude, don't worry. I already shot him a message. Don't spam his account on my behalf. I'm sure he'll get back to me when he can. Liz in Town Hall. Dave mentioned the possibility of creating a black post for older cards, maybe by burning old. Oh, okay. Again, I'm not opposed to the idea. It just doesn't seem right. Paul, you just sent me something. Oh, thank you for this. Here's this week's land update. So this was it just yesterday? Land update. The following's been done since the last update. Added land information, slot tooltips, add checkbox to show cards with land abilities, widen card list, and change resource. Start working on replicating the backend. Okay. So according to Matt, land cards is Cryptomancer's focus right now. I don't see anything about that here on his last update. This all seems like a quality of life thing on the worksite slot management. But maybe that's just me. Thank you for that, Paul. New awards in October, new mini set in December. Okay. Thank you. Next part of my notes is we should be seeing a proposal by next week, according to Dave, for a new mini set that will be out by the end of the year and has the potential to be sold differently. Now, Dave, the one thing Dave mentioned as kind of like a clue into this is that the DAO would be taking in more SPS than it would be putting out, which leads me to believe that the only way that they could really do that is by selling it in SPS, which I am totally for. I think that we should be selling more stuff in SPS. I don't think that that's a terrible thing, right? We can have a lot of the core things sold in DEC because DEC is, the stablecoin, but we should be having either promo cards or mini sets or something like that that are sold in SPS to replenish the DAO on a regular basis. Because this is going to be the virtuous loop, right? The cycle of life that is going to allow us to have SPS for rewards in the future. And the hope is this, right? Like once we get critical mass once we've reached like a good equilibrium on the amount of SPS that is out there in circulation versus the amount of players that we have and the demand for SPS, right? My thought is that we should start to see a steady rise in the value of SPS over time. Now, how long that takes, what that route looks like, I don't know, and this is not financial advice, but just to make the numbers easy, and keep in mind, this is just an example, right? Just to make the numbers easy, in the white paper, they talked about the fact that, it's listed that they are giving out like 7.5 million SPS per month giving out 7.5 million SPS per month for rank rewards. Okay. Now, obviously, we've seen SPS go all over the place. Went up to $1, came back down. Now it's below a penny. Let's just say it's at a penny for good measure, right? So 7.5 million SPS. Now, when that runs out, let's say we get to a point, enough SPS has been burned. There's enough demand on SPS, new players coming in, all that, yada, yada, yada. That SPS actually goes from, 1 cent to maybe 10 cents, right? At which point you could look at this and say, okay, instead of giving out 7.5 million SPS per month in rank rewards, you can actually drop that by 10x, meaning that you only need to give out 750,000 per month, right? For the next 5-year distribution, we'll call it. At which point, right, the value being given out in rewards would still be the same as what's being given out now, right? 7.5 million at 1 cent versus 750,000 at 10 cents. Now, it's not always going to be perfect like that, right? These are just the frameworks that we work in. But let's say we do another 65 months or whatever for, 750,000 SPS, reducing by 1 per month or whatever it is. This isn't my ideal way of doing it. I'm just following the white paper. So in another 5.5 years, let's suppose, or let's hope that the value of SPS once again does a 10x and goes from 10 cents up to $1, right? We're talking like 2030. At that point, when we need to refill the pot, instead of being 750,000 SPS per month, it's down to 75,000 SPS per month. You get what I'm saying? And so we get to continue doing this at a rate where we get to reduce it by X amount every single time because there's less and less SPS in the ecosystem. Hopefully there's more demand with more players coming in, or even just, activity in the ecosystem that burns DEC and in turn burns SPS for the DEC that needs to replace it. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. So going back to what we were talking about, which is the proposal for the mini set, I'm wondering if they're going to do something like this, which, again, we're 3 years removed from the Rift Watcher sale, and a lot of people didn't really like how that went. I think there's an opportunity here. The thing is, with the Rift Watcher sale, the packs were expensive. It was a premium game. Still remains a premium game, but $5 packs is a lot. And with SPS going down in value, you don't see a reprieve from that. You don't get to buy the packs for cheaper, like if it's priced in DEC. I think we've seen a decent amount of success in the Conclave Arcana sale to have different type of pack offerings. And I wonder if there would be an interesting approach for the team to do something similar with a mini set where they have something like a starter pack, but maybe it's limited and not like unlimited the way that the starter packs that we have now. Or maybe it is unlimited, who knows? But it goes for $1. I think you could get a bunch of people to spend $1 on a pack, because you're seeing them do it now, right? And if the focus is just on getting like the commons and rares, especially if there's some interesting summoners or some key meta cards that might exist in those, that might be worthwhile. Like, people love throwing $1 into the slot machine, right? It's a lot easier than throwing $5 into the slot machine. And I think it's Conclave Arcana has proven that. Now, the other way that you could do it, and this would be interesting too, is you could tie it to the peg value of DEC, or to the value of DEC and how far DEC is away from peg. So, for example, right, DEC is like 20% below peg right now. So let's say you were to sell a pack for $4. Well, even though you're selling it in SPS and you're going to take the dollar value of that SPS, because DEC is lower, you get a discount on it. So instead of spending $4 worth of SPS, you spend $3.20, right? Because DEC is lower. Even though you're not using DEC, you're still getting the benefits of the DEC being lower, right? It's like the whole ecosystem is available for sale at that level. I don't know, just fun thought. So someone usually reposts Crypto Master in the land expansion room. Wibble did it for the past one. Oh, all right, cool. Thanks, Wibble. What's up, Wibble? Good to see you here. Icy Flow says, why wait? Do an aggressive halving now. So I would love, instead of a halving, and Icy Flow, I put this out a while ago, but I would love to have a 1% reduction for life. So you look at where we're at right now, and I did the math on this a while back, but like, start off with here. So if we're doing so for example, if 7.5 million SPS per month, so this is my math here. 7.5 million SPS per month, you want to put a year's worth into that. So we're going to multiply that by 12. So that's 90 million SPS. Am I getting that right? Oh, maybe not. Maybe we need to put more. But still, the DAO's sitting on a ton of SPS. No. Hold on. You need to do 75 million or 7.5 million times 100. Oh, shoot. That's a lot. So 750 million SPS. But we're not even at that level now. We're probably closer to 5 million. So let's say, how much is the DAO sitting on? Let's see. We'd have to allocate a good amount, and maybe you don't do the full amount, right? But basically, you put a pool out there. Let's say, because the DAO's sitting on probably 1.2 million SPS. I don't know how much of which of that has been like allocated, but let's say you do 500 million SPS. So the first month, that you pull from that pool, you take out 5 million, right? 1%. And then every month subsequent to that, you take out another 1% relative to how much is in there. So it's not like you're taking 5 million out every month, right? You take 5 million out the first month, and then it's like 4.95, right? The next month, and down and down and down. But the idea is that it's slowly decreasing over time, but it never goes to zero, right? And so the idea then would be you have a lot of SPS. I think I'm doing that the right way. Yeah, 500 million, 1% would be 5 million. And that pool would be good for forever, right? Unless we wanted to change it, that pool would be set there. It would be locked. And you could have that 500 million SPS, like, the schedule of that. It's never going to change unless there's a DAO vote. And like, it's just sitting there. It's allocated. We can see it on the blockchain. It's good to go, right? The DAO is all set. And I think that it would be good to do that with other areas too, should we decide to do that. I mean, SPS I think should always be given out for ranked rewards. But should SPS always be given out for land rewards? Maybe not, right? Matt's kind of hinted at if land has enough utility, then maybe we don't need to put SPS there. Should it be given out for guilds? Yeah, probably, right? But that guild brawls doesn't need to be as high, so you can allocate a smaller amount, right? If 500 million is for rank, maybe you do only like 100 million for guilds. For tournaments, yeah, you could do something similar where it's just same kind of deal. Validators absolutely should get something, though. See, like here's the way I look at it. Rank should always have something, and validators should always have something. Those should be the top two priority. Guilds and tournaments, like guild brawls, you might be able to get away, especially if like people love just the game. You might be able to get away with like in-game rewards and cool things like that, and I don't know, like cool exclusives for guild brawls. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give out SPS, but like that wouldn't be at the top of the list for me, right? That doesn't crack the top two. Land might go away. We've already gotten rid of LPs. Tournaments is another weird one because again, like that's really just been paying out a lot of the players for a long time, and I don't see the value of tournaments outside of just kind of rewarding asset holders. I would love for the SPS that's there to be better used as like a marketing tool if you think about it. But I don't know. That's it. All right. Let's do a couple more and then I gotta bounce. So Drew says, thank you, Afternoon. You helped us through the dark winter in Splinterlands. You and other streamers, much respect, dude. You know what, Druids? I really appreciate that, and I'm glad. It kind of sucks that things have gotten really busy for me lately, and I haven't been able to focus as much on Splinterlands, but that doesn't mean I don't love it just as much as I did back then. If anything, I'm so much more excited about where stuff is heading, and I wish I had more time to spend on Splinterlands. It's just a lot of things have been turning around for me, or picking up for me, I should say, on the music side, and turning around for me in other areas of my life, which I'm not trying to get into here. But it's been a fun summer, man. It's been a good 2025 has been good for me. I'm grateful. I'm feeling good, and you know what? Splinterlands is a big part of it. You guys are a big part of that. So I want to make sure that I'm continuing to put out content, connect with you guys, and yeah, I mean this is something. I can't believe I've been playing this damn game for 4 years. I can't think of any other game that I've like stayed disengaged with the entire time. So, and the crazy part is, in many ways, it feels like the excitement is just starting, right? Like I listened to the town hall today, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I was the guy that was like on top of everything for the last couple of years, where I was making video after video of every little news tidbit that dropped, right? Anything. I was just like salivating for like, what can I talk about? What can I talk about Splinterlands? And now it's at the point where like, my time is a little bit busier, but also it's just like, I look at the stuff that's coming out and I'm just like, now it's like, I can't keep up with this. They're doing too much. They're doing too much in a good way, right? This is why I'm just like, I don't know what the meta is like in Modern because I can't keep up with that, right? I'm botting my account in Wild, and I love playing in Wild just because I'm used to the Chaos Legion meta. I love playing in what's that called? Survival mode now. That's been my new favorite thing. I haven't even been able to keep up with Frontier mode, and everybody's talking about that. That's like the new hottest thing. Everybody's asking, when are you gonna like do Frontier mode videos? And I'm just like, I don't even know what the meta is. Like, I haven't been playing because like when I jump in, I have fun playing survival mode, right? For the little time that I have to play every day, it's always survival mode. And then of course like there's land, and who knows whatever else the team might come up with. So it's exciting for me, and it's sad, but it's also exciting. It's like watching something grow and just not feeling like you have your arms wrapped around it the way that you did before. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's good stuff. All right, Icy Blow says, yeah, the progressive halving is what I tried to float a couple years ago, like a 1 to 3% reduction per month. I'm all for that, man. I wouldn't call that a halving, but just because I think people will get the wrong idea, since the terminology is very different and people will think of Bitcoin. But I like the idea of like a set percentage reduction per month so that you never actually get to zero. It would just require a massive startup cost. No, sorry, there's no cost. A massive startup allocation that you would need to get buy-in from top SPS stakeholders. All right, Blockchain says, try copy and paste the Town Hall YouTube's transcript. ChatGPT, you can ask for summary talking points. Oh, I don't even know where to get the transcript. Can I just pull that from YouTube? You need to get traction, icy flow, damn hard, watch aftersound. Now feature actually months or years of trial. That'd be crazy. Joffrey's in the house. What's up? Selling 3 foundation packs a day is clutch. Finally, they did something right. Man, you know, if you guys see Joffrey happy, you know something's good is happening in Splinterlands. Let's go, man. Joffrey, it's good to see you, brother. Druid says, go for blockchain. Please share. Yeah, Matt has turned the game around, actually getting things done. Agree, icy flow. Yeah, so you know what? And this is not to take anything away from Matt. I think Matt came in at a time when the game was at its lowest point and did what he needed to do to get it, to right the ship, to get the focus back, and to really just deliver on the promises that were made, on the promises that he believed, that the team could make reasonably. But for me, and again, not taking anything away from Matt or the rest of the team, but in the conversations that I've had with Dave and just seeing how Dave carries himself and speaks on the town hall, I really do believe that Dave came in and did 2 things that are really important. One, he took a lot of the stuff off of Matt's plate that Matt hated to do. And Matt was very open about that. And I think because he was able to do that, now we're getting all this cool stuff because Matt actually gets to do what he loves to do. And number 2, he's an operator, man. He knows how to build stuff. He knows how to manage stuff. He's not coming in and being like, I'm going to be the creative guy, right? I'm going to be this guy, or I'm going to be that guy. He's just like, how do we get stuff done? How do I get the right people to talk to each other? How do I get the right people to spend time together to make this stuff happen, right? And so I've been very, very bullish on Splinterlands once Dave came on as CEO or whatever his role is, right? COO, whatever. So I think that the team dynamic of him and Matt, and again everybody else, like I love all these guys. I got to know a lot of them personally. I got to meet a lot of them personally. Like Nate works his ass off on the creative side, right? And you got to see Alfredo today, which is super cool. He was so chill, man. When I got to meet him at Splinterfest, Tyler as well. I mean, Investigator, if you ever watch these, you know you're my fave, Investigator. You guys have no idea. I'm so glad it's coming out now. You have no idea how much Investigator does behind the scenes. Like, this guy's just always thinking about how can I make the game better? What are the little things that I can do? What are the things that people are asking for? And then he just goes and does it. He just goes and does it. And now, like, I think you're seeing more of the accolades that come out around Investigator. But I used to see this stuff, behind the scenes. When I was doing contracting with the team, I'm just like, man, Investigator like really cares, man. He just really, really cares. So again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the rest of the team, but I think Dave's leadership coming in, taking that stuff off of Matt's plate, and just learning how to get people to work well with each other. Like, that's his strength, right? Seeing the bigger picture, creating the structure, getting people to work well together. I think that's why we're seeing all this stuff fire on all cylinders right now. It's really cool to see. It really is. So shout out to the team. All right. Did you know the Frontier Mode rewards you a lottery ticket and you can win black foils? I did see that. And once again, I'm still not even playing, even though I should be. But yeah, Dave for sure helped a lot. I thank Matt for that because he made Dave possible. Yeah. Well, both of them are great. I don't know how the synergy came about in the first place, but Matt was very open about the fact that he doesn't want to do this stuff, right? He wants to focus on building a game. He doesn't want to focus on managing a business. And I think the fact that he was very open about that is what opened the door for someone like Dave, who has been around the community since day one or very early on, to be like, you know what? I actually do like doing this stuff. And I would love to do this stuff around a game I've been playing for the last X amount of years. So, yeah. We're in a good spot right now, guys. I don't think you guys recognize it. We're in a really good spot. And I don't say this is not financial advice, this is not investment advice. I'm not trying to talk about anything. Like, Splinterlands has become fun for a lot of people again. And the stuff that they have planned coming out is only going to make it better. And the fact that they got this huge cash injection from a successful sale with Conclave Arcana means that we don't have to worry about, like, is the team's runway going to be okay, right? What's going to happen? Nah, man, they're not focused on that anymore. They're focused on building. They're focused on bringing players in. They're focused on making that experience better. And you're seeing it slowly and steadily. Since the beginning of the year, they came through on all the big things that they had, right? Survival mode, land 1.75, Conclave Arcana. Then after that, it's like, okay, now that it's out, we're going to shift to getting new players. Look at the numbers, man. They're getting new spellbook purchases every day in double digits, multiple double digits. Like, it's you're in it right now. We're in it. That's why we can't really see it. But I will be. I'm actually just very excited to see where Splinterlands is going to be in like a year from now. And I know I used to say that all the time. And I used to say that sometimes like negatively, where it's just like, man, I don't know. We'll see where Splinterlands is going to be in a year from now. But at this point in time, I'm like, even just the next 6 months, now they're giving us kind of like the roadmap with rough timelines, which is what they used to avoid before. But now we know that they can hit it because they've built a good track record the past 18 months or so. And so it's like, all right, man, bring it on. I want to see this guild stuff. I want to see land stuff. I want to see this avatar stuff. Bring on the new reward cards. Make them not soulbound. Let's see how that goes. Right? Let's get this new mini set. See what that's like. I don't know. To me, like even the next 6 months are super exciting. So I don't know. You can tell that I'm really pumped about this. I think that's all I have for you guys because I gotta bounce. Gotta go take care of some things, and life is good, man. Life is good. I hope that is the case for all of you guys. It's been a good summer for me, and I'm not saying that to like rub it in your faces. I just genuinely hope all of you are in a good spot right now too. And if not, then I hope that you guys get there, and I hope that Splinterlands is that kind of shining bright spot in your life that you can come to and escape from all the darkness. And hopefully that's only going to get better and better as we go along. But like I said, I'm going to try to keep on streaming as much as I can. I'll try to keep the content coming. And once summer is over, I think things will be a little bit more calm for me. So for example, like I'll be traveling again this weekend, or not this weekend, but next week for a week for a friend's wedding, which is exciting, right? This is life, and I want to go celebrate and see people. But after that, once summer is done, we'll get into a little bit better of a routine. I cannot promise Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday mornings anymore, but whenever I can, I'll be on to hang out and chat Splinterlands and crypto and all that stuff. And hopefully we do get that promised bull run overall. Icy Flow says, I see Splinterlands growing like RuneScape, slow and steady for years. Drew says, I agree. Glad to have Dave and Blaze working on the game. Oh, I forgot about Blaze. Yeah, Blaze has been fantastic too. And Clay is a rock star in the DAO, to the moon later. Splinterlands, where we turn hope into confidence. Love it. All right, guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, whatever time it is. I will catch you all soon, and I'll get that 5 biggest takeaways out at some point tomorrow. But take care of yourselves. Peace.